Thank you guys so much. It was an incredible week. And again, today is gonna look a little different than normal because this is celebration weekend. And what are we celebrating? All that God did this week. And I'm just so honored, so proud of all that God did. And I thank you because so many of you volunteered your time. So many of you sacrificed your money. So many of you guys gave to make what happened last week possible. So thank you guys so much. But I have some stats that I wanted to share with you guys. And the first thing you just saw on screen is we set out this year for a goal to raise $8,000 to help the Narrow Door with a refrigerator that had broken down so they could be able to help feed the Coachella Valley and help make a difference inside of this area. And instead of $8,000, our kids brought in $12,195. This year, we had over 830 registrations for Summer Spectacular this year. To make that all possible, we had over 400 volunteers here all week long to make sure that we could actually make that happen. All that. And as we looked through the registrations, we found out 198 of those kids said they had never attended a church before. Why is all of that important? It's all important because of this number here, which made this all worth it. And that's 278 kids gave their life to Christ this past week. Already this morning, we got to witness over 17 kids get baptized outside during the first service today. And we have some more that are gonna be happening after service today. And we're just so excited because of all that God did this week. He moved powerfully, lives were changed, families were impacted. Just a couple quick stories. I wish I could share all the stories, but a couple quick stories. After Thursday, we do our salvation message. I'm upstairs. That's the next rotation after the lesson that's happened here. I go upstairs and they're in the snack area and a little girl runs up to me. She's 8 years old and says, Pastor Joe, guess what I did today? And I said, what did you do today? I'm getting ready for her to say, I got wet, I went crazy, I ate too much snacks, whatever it was. And she says, Pastor Joe, today I gave my life to Christ and I'm so excited. After all the experiences, after everything happened, there was a man who came up to me and said, Joe, I love what we did this week. I want to continue to do this. What can I do? I want to be mentored. I want to keep doing this. I'm not finished and God's not done with me. It was stories like that throughout the whole week that made huge impacts. The things that we got to see, the lives that we got to change, the lives that were changed because of what God was doing here were incredible. That's what we get to celebrate today. So today's service, if you haven't noticed, is gonna be a little different. We were like, hey, let's have a week where we have 1,200 plus people in here. We go all week long, Monday through Friday with crazy games and crazy stuff. And we go crazy and it's just exhausting and it's tiring. And then Sunday, I got a great idea. Let's put all those people in one room, 5-year-olds and 80-year-olds all in one room and figure out how do we communicate to both of them and keep all of their attention all at once. Welcome to Celebration Weekend. So today is gonna be a little different. We're gonna play some games, we're gonna have some fun, and I'm gonna spend half of our time talking to our kids, but then I'm gonna spend another half of our time encouraging fathers in the room today. So if you're a parent, let me hear you. If you're not a parent, let me hear you. Notice how much louder they were? Like they had so much more energy. They're like, I have time on my hands, yeah, woohoo! They're so excited. Single people, let me hear you. So if you're new to church, that was your chance. I gave you an opportunity there, single people, where you do this. I need to teach you a lesson. This is just real quick, not part of my lesson today. This is a different lesson. You owe me later. So if you're single, you say, woo, and you look all around. because that was your chance. That was your chance to find out where all the other single people are. You had an opportunity, you missed it, but next time, now you're prepared, now you're ready. So there's a couple things I want you to notice. One is all the people who didn't have kids were like so much more energetic. So much more like that, they were just like so much more enthused, and then their parents were like, yeah, we made it. 11 o'clock, we had an extra hour to sleep, we didn't go to the 9. And then single people, you missed your chance. Today, I'm gonna talk to you all like we're at Summer Spectacular Day 6. And doing so, I need you guys to talk back to me. So the lesson today is what's in you matters most. So every time you hear me say, what's in you, you need to follow that call with a response of matters most. We're gonna practice. What's in you? Oh, that was good. I think you could do better though. I believe in you. That's how much faith I have in you. What's in you? Good, good. You have to pay attention because I might say that at any time, any moment during the service, any point, high, low, doesn't matter. I just want you guys to be ready at any time. What's in you? Okay, good, you're good. That was the last test. All right, we're gonna be reading out of First Samuel. 1 Samuel, we're gonna read a lot of verses. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back over those verses and we're gonna break those verses down. We're gonna play a couple games and then I'm gonna encourage and pray with all the dads. Let's go. 1 Samuel 16, 1 through 13. 1 Samuel 16. I'm gonna read fast because I talk fast and I apologize ahead of time. The Lord said to Samuel, how long will you grieve over Saul since I have rejected him from being king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and go. I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided for myself a king among his sons. And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hears it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, take a heifer with you and say, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. And invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you shall do. And you shall anoint for me, him whom I declare to you. Samuel did what the Lord commanded and came to Bethlehem. The elders of the city came to meet him, trembling, and said, do you come peaceably? And he said, peaceably I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Consecrate yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. And he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. When they came, he looked at Eliab and thought, surely the Lord's anointed him before him. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or on his height or stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, neither has the Lord chosen this one. Then Jesse made Shammah pass by, and he said, neither has the Lord chosen this one. And Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before him, and Samuel said to Jesse, the Lord has not chosen these. Then Samuel said to Jesse, are your sons here? And he said, there remains yet the youngest. But behold, he is keeping the sheep. And Samuel said to Jesse, I send and get him, for we will not sit down till he comes here. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and he had beautiful eyes and was handsome, just like Pastor Joe. And the Lord said, all right, see, just making sure you're paying attention. There's a lot of verses and you're like, I didn't pay attention to that. Arise and anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers, and the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon David from that day forward. And Samuel rose and went up and went to Ramah. God, thank you for your word. Thank you for today. Thank you for what you've done this past week. Thank you for what you're doing in the hearts of every person in this building. God, we ask that you would make my lips like clay, speak through me. Use me as your servant today. That it might be your words, not my words. What you have to say matters more than what I have to say. So God, do what only you can. Speak, move, change us from the inside out. Thank you for what you've done and what you're gonna continue to do. In your name, I pray. And everyone says, amen. What's in you? Oh, it's just a test. All right. Today we want to talk to you about this idea, this concept of what's in you. And when we were thinking about this verse came alive to me as I'm looking and studying through this. And there's 4 things that we taught this whole week, this idea that you have to make waves for Jesus. We're gonna make waves for Jesus. And we've taught the kids over and over again, you have the ability to make waves for Jesus. And I wanna continue that talk and talk about how can we make waves for Jesus. And there's 4 principles that you have to do in order to make waves. And the first thing is you have to trust what he gave you. Write that down if you're taking notes. Trust what he gave you. And I'll find that in the first set of verses in 1 Samuel 16:1. And it says this, the Lord said to Samuel, how long will you grieve over Saul, since I have rejected him from being king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and go, and I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided for myself a king amongst his sons. Well, the first thing we have to question when this set of verses is why is he grieving? Why is Samuel grieving? Why is he sad? Why is he looking at this moment and he's weeping over this moment and saying he's grieving over Saul? Why? Because what happened in that time was every other country had a king except for the people of Israel. They didn't have what others had, which made them lose value for what God had given them. Because they were a theocracy, which is a theological word that just means theo, God, ocracy, government, a God-run government. And they were now at this point where they wanted to be just like everybody else. They were looking at social media profiles and saying, hey, they have a king, why don't we have a king? I know you've never done that, but there's a great danger when we start comparing our lives to the lives of others. Social media is such a great tool. It's so helpful for so many things of communication, but it can also be a dangerous tool when it uses that tool as a way of comparison. Where you start looking at other people's lives and you start looking at their highlight reel and saying, why isn't my family like their family? How come their kids behave and mine don't? No, just me? Okay, cool. When you start looking at their things and saying, hey, why do they get to do that? Well, I've got news for you. People aren't who they post to be. What do you mean, Pastor Joe? People aren't what they post to be. Like the thing that you watch on social media, you're watching their highlight reel and you're judging your everyday based on their highlight reel. And you're looking at their vacation and they just had a week-long vacation and you saw the one picture where all of them are smiling, they're happy, all their kids' hairs are in the right places, they got all the right stuff, they got nice clothing on. It was a great moment, great picture. They got together and everyone's so happy. What they didn't take a picture of was that all the way up to the mountain, parents were arguing back and forth. The 3-hour road trip that it took them to get to the beach, their kids are fighting and beating each other up in the back. Oh, don't play with me and act like your family don't do this. Where all of a sudden, it's not the picture of all the things that went wrong, where it's not, no one's taking the picture of, hey, we spent a day of the 7 days in the ER because one of my kids thought he was Superman, wanted to jump off the rocks into more rocks and ended up falling and hurting themselves. No one took the pictures of the allergic reaction that took place. No one's taking the pictures of the issues that went on in the backgrounds. No one's taking the picture before the picture where you're yelling at your kid to smile and be happy for the camera. So we can look like a happy family for everybody else to see. No one saw that. But what happens is you start examining your life based on their reality. And the problem is we all have this competitive nature inside of us. If you don't believe me, you ever go to the gym on the treadmill and someone rolls up next to you and they start running? And you're like, I could go a little faster. So you're laughing because you know it's you too. Where all of a sudden, I don't know about you, but for me, like it turns out into the Summer Olympics 2022. Unbeknownst to that person, they've just entered into a race. They didn't know it, they didn't know it happened, but I knew it happened. They rolled up next to me, and as soon as they rolled up next to me, the gym transformed. We are now in the Olympics. So they go a little faster, I go a little faster. Oh, you going on an incline, you special now. I can go on an incline too, and I go on an incline. They slow down, well, I don't want to cheat, so I got to slow down too, you know what I mean? Like, it's Olympics, you don't want to cheat on the Olympics. And you're like changing it based on someone else's circumstance. And then later, they come up to you and they're like, how was your workout? And you're like, my workout? Golden. Like, gold medal, golden loser, you couldn't keep up with me. They didn't know, but they just entered into a race. It's funny how competitive we are. And I've realized that my competitive nature has also leaked into my kids. My son, Zion, if you've never met him before, I'm sure you've seen him running around here. He's got little legs, but that kid can go. He's like 18 months now, and he's just taking off everywhere. And he's running around our house, and he's running around and doing all these crazy things and doing all the things you tell him not to do and saying all the things you tell him not to say. And he worries me so much that I made sure that every time we drop him off anywhere, they have his mom's number. Anybody have a kid like that? No, just me? Okay. Well, we're like running around the house, and all of a sudden, I see him. He notices his shadow. And he's running around the house. And he's now trying to beat his shadow. So he's running, and he takes off, and he's looking back, and he's looking back, and he's looking back. And all of a sudden, I see him. The shadow catches his eye, and he's just focused in on the shadow because the shadow keeps keeping up with him. But because he's looking at his shadow, he lost focus of his race. And boom, he runs straight into the wall. I would be lying to say I didn't have video of it, but I didn't want to share it for child abuse reasons. Because I saw it coming. I saw it from far away. I saw it because I saw he kept focusing on the shadow rather than focusing on his race. And it's funny when we're in the gym, and it's funny when it's little kids, but don't we do the same thing? Where we get off track of our race and we start looking at their race. And oh, she did this. Oh, and they got this vacation. Oh, they went there. Oh, the Joneses got that car. Oh, this person got that car. And you start playing the comparison game and measuring up your life by their life. And if you keep trying to measure up, you'll only be let down. And the same way that my son ran into the wall will be the same way you end up running into a wall. Why? Because you're comparing yourself by a race that's not yours. That God gave you an assignment. He gave you a task. He gave you a race. He told you to run. He's given you an assignment of how and where you should go. And the problem is when we lose focus and watch other people and you see their marriage look so happy and their family got it all together and their kids have it all figured out. And I'm here to tell you, people aren't who they post to be. And you can keep comparing your life to theirs. And you can keep losing focus of your race, but you will only end up hurting yourself by measuring up to others. You will only be let down. See, this is why I love David, because David was a person who was called by God to live this life where he was separate. And all these people are looking at, in this moment, in this very beginning of the scriptures, it says that Samuel was grieving over Saul because they made a mistake of looking at their life. But David focuses on his task, his job, his responsibility, and he looks at the things that he has. And when other people try to give him stuff and Saul tries to give him his armor, you know what he does? He shakes it off. Because he says, my identity is not wrapped in what other people put on me. It's not wrapped in what other people have to say about me. It's not wrapped in what other people are gonna do about me. No, it's wrapped in what God has said for me. And I will be laser focused in the assignment that God has given me. And I won't look at other people's talents, abilities, or anything else. I will see and I'll be focused in what God has given me. What has God called you for? Because all David had was a slingshot. But that slingshot took down a giant. Moses, when Moses was standing before the Red Sea, he's looking at the Red Sea that's in front of him, and you know what? He cries out to the Lord because the people are complaining. Everyone else is arguing. Everything's going wrong. It seems like his life is falling apart, and now his past is creeping up behind him. And he looks at the Red Sea, and he cries out to the Lord, and the Lord tells him, why are you crying out to me? Look in your hand. I have given you a rod. And what it goes to show me is that God has given you everything you need for your journey ahead. And others might look at that rod as only a stick, but Moses looked at that rod and said, if God is in it, then God can work through it. And I will use this rod and it will part the Red Sea and it will make a miracle happen. Why? Because what God gave me is enough for the journey that's in front of me. It was a boy with 2 fish and 5 loaves that said, how can I feed 1,000? How can I feed 5,000 people? How am I gonna feed all these people? I don't have enough. But what looked like not enough became more than enough. Why? Because if God is in it, he will work through it. So why is that helpful for you? Because you keep looking at your little and saying, what can God do with this? And what we need to do is examine that God has given you enough for the journey ahead, that we can't keep looking at other people's lives. We can't look at what other people have done. We can't look at the gifts and the talents and abilities and intelligence of others, but we need to look at what has God given for you, because it's hard to be grateful for the things we take for granted. It's hard to be grateful for the things that we take for granted. What has God given you? I dare you every morning to wake up and write a gratitude journal where you start being thankful for all the things that you have and the things that God has given you. Why? Because it's so easy for the enemy to combat you with all the grumbling and all the issues and all the problems, where all of a sudden you get weighted down by the problems in our world, rather than looking at the God of our world and saying, God, I am thankful. I have an attitude of gratitude, and that will help me stop all the grumbling that is happening, all the problems that are surrounded with, where I have an attitude of gratitude that it's changing my heart. It may not change my circumstance. It might change the situations. It may not change what I'm going through, but it changed the way I see things, because what's in you. Oh, that was your chance and you missed it. What's in you? It's what's in you that matters most. And when we can focus on what God has given you, we rarely compare ourselves to people that have less than us. But let me help you get some perspective. If you have food in your fridge, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head, and a place to sleep, you are richer than 75% of the world. If you have money in your bank, your wallet, and some spare change, you are among the top 8% of the world's wealthy. If you woke up this morning with more health than illness, you are more blessed than millions of people who will not survive this week. What God has given you, we have a reason to be thankful. And we can have an attitude of gratitude, where we can see how God has worked in and through us. We should be thankful, and we should have a heart of gratitude for what he's given you. Because what's in you? Yeah, verse. The second thing I need to do is this. It's trust he is working in you. Verse 2, and I'm gonna read a few verses through verse 7. It says, and Samuel said, how can I go if Saul hears? He will kill me. And the Lord said, take a heifer with you and say, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord, and invite Jesse to the sacrifice. And I will show you what you shall do, and you shall anoint for me him whom I declared to you. Samuel did what the Lord commanded and came to Bethlehem. The elders of the city came to meet him, and trembling and said, do you come peaceably? And he said, peaceably I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Consecrate yourself and come with me to sacrifice. And he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. And when they came, he looked to Eliab and thought, surely the Lord's anointed before him. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. That's why I'm so short. For the Lord sees not as man sees, but man looks on the outward appearance. But the Lord looks on the heart. Because you have to believe that God is working in you and going to do something through you, that we need to understand the things that God is doing inside of us are more important. See, what happened in this moment is Samuel's looking at the outer appearance. He's looking at all these great looking guys and saying, this has to be the king. They've got it all figured out. They've got it all together. Look at him. He's got height. He's got beauty. He's got it all together. He's got it all figured out. And God told Samuel, no, that's not what I want you to look at. It's not about the outward appearance. It's about the heart. Because what's in you? To better explain that, I need about 4 people. I need a parent and a kid. I need a parent and a kid, 4 people. If you're willing to eat anything, I had to give the warning out. If you're willing to eat anything, I need 4 people to help me out. 4 people to help me out. 4 people to help me out. There's a girl in the red and her dad, if you guys wanna come up here. I need a father and a son. Hold on. I'll call you guys up. Yes, father and a son or a father and a daughter. All right, come on. Bring one of your parents, only one. Come on, come up here. Hurry, yes. I need one more. I need a father and a son or parent, kid. Yes, come up here. You, right there, black, white shirt, come on. That's it, good job, guys. All right, I have more games coming, don't worry, you're going to be selected. This one is a game called Punch a Bunch. And on my right hand, you'll see that we have a game, and inside of there is chocolate. On the outside. Inside might be a little different. So I need you to go pick 2 boxes. You pick one. And inside of there, after they're done, you're gonna pick, and there's chocolate. But there was once a pastor. Put your finger through it, and then grab inside of there. There was a pastor, his name was Pastor Forrest Gump. And he said, "Lars likes a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get." Well, inside of there, come on, next person, grab it, go. Inside of there could be a chocolate Reese's, or it could be a chocolate broccoli. It could be a chocolate strawberry. Go ahead, guys, after you pick your stuff, go back, next person. It could be a chocolate pretzel, or it could be a chocolate cricket. It could be jelly beans, or it could be a chocolate asparagus. Last one, come on up. Aren't you glad you volunteered for this game? So, did you pick 2? Sweet. Whoever eats the chocolate the fastest wins. Hold on, relax. I haven't called you yet, I haven't said it yet. I don't know what you have, you know what you have, but whoever eats it the fastest, but you have to show me. As soon as you're, wait, relax. Once you're done, you eat it, chew it up, raise your hand when you're done, but you have to show me you have eaten everything in your mouth. Are you ready? Yes. On your mark, get set. Oh, wait, I forgot. There is a winner. The winner gets jiu-jitsu lessons, because after this, you're gonna have to fight someone because they made you eat chocolate, and his name is Dan Green. Email dangreen@southwestchurch.com because he came up with this game. All right, ready, set, go. I'm guessing you didn't get something good. All right. When you finish, you have to raise your hand and then show me, but it has to be out of your mouth. Good, but your mom has to finish too. All of you, both of you have to finish. All right, first place. I got a second place. All right, second place. Good job, guys. Give it up for them, guys. Right there's Miss Carrie. She's gonna give you your prize. First, second. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Your prize was you ate something chocolate. Why, Joe? Why do we play this disgusting game? What's the point of that? What's important of that is on the outside, they all look the same. On the outside, it was all covered with chocolate. The problem wasn't what was on the outside, because what we're learning all day today is this: what's inside. The problem with our society is God didn't create you for uniformity. He created you for uniqueness. He created you to be different so that you can make a difference in the world that we're in. And too often we're looking at other people's lives and saying, I wanna look, act, and talk like them. In reality, God is saying, no, I want you to look, act, and talk like me. I need you to be a representation of me in this world. I need you to go out and live the gospel and the race that I've challenged you with. You don't need to look like anybody else. I need you to allow me to work inside of you. And that's why David was chosen. That's why David was picked, because David was a person after God's heart, and he had a heart after God. And because of his heart after God, he was chosen. But the problem with so many of us is we play this if-then game. If I get this, then I will be happy. Kids, if I get that PlayStation 5, then I'll be happy. If I get that new VR set, then I will never leave my room. But parents, let's not lie. We play that same game too. Because if I get that house, then my family will be happy. If we get that vacation, then my family could be satisfied. If I get that job and make enough money, then we will have enough. If I do this, then that. And you think happiness is a place, but happiness is not about a place. It's not a position. It's not a status. Happiness and joy is a person. And if we can align our lives in Him and the purposes that He has for us, then we can live a life full of purpose. It's not about you finding purpose in life. It's about you bringing purpose in life by living the life that God has given you and chosen you. He has picked for you. Because what's in you. The third thing we have to do is we have to trust the author. Verse 8 through 11, it says this, then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, neither has the Lord chosen this one. Then Jesse made Shammah pass by, and he said, neither has the Lord chosen this one. And Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel, and Samuel said to Jesse, the Lord has not chosen these. Then Samuel said to Jesse, are all your sons here? And he said, there remains yet the youngest, but behold, he's keeping the sheep. And Samuel said to Jesse, send and get for him, for we will not sit down till he comes here. I love this because all of Jesse's sons were lined up, ready to be picked, except for one, David. It's amazing to me how man can reject somebody, but God can still pick them. It's amazing to me how others can say that's not the one, but God can say, I like that one. How others can look at that person's life and say, he don't have what it takes, he doesn't have enough, he's not smart enough, talented enough, good enough, but God can say, perfect, he's able to be used by me. Why? Because when I use him, no one else can say they did it, but when I use them, they have to say, God must have worked through him because that guy ain't smart enough, talented enough, good enough to be up there. Thank you, Jesus, for picking me. See, the two things I want you to recognize is this. David's character to be faithful over the little. He was gonna be king, and yet as a kid, he was faithful to do the job that wasn't very highly esteemed. Kids, this is a lesson for you. Are you faithful in the little that you have? Like the room that you have that your parents keep telling you to clean up, are you faithful with that? Parents, that's a moment you say amen, and the little nudge right there, amen. The things that your parents sacrifice, the games that they give you, the car that they've given you, the things that you have, the things that God has given to you and worked through your parents to allow that opportunity that you have been blessed. Are you thankful for that? But parents, I have that same challenge for you. Because are you faithful with the little that you have? Because the same kids that you keep complaining about, somebody else is praying and wishing they had. Because the same job that you keep complaining about is someone who's crying and wishing that they had. The things that you are saying, I wish this did not happen in this way, someone else is saying, I wish I could have the things that they're complaining about. God bless me with what they are not, because you have to be faithful with the resources and the things that God has given you. Are you faithful with the little? Because David's character was so good that he was faithful over the little. The second thing we can observe is God uses David's history to be part of his story. How do you know that? Because it was in that place, it was as he was taking care of the sheep that David was faced with a bear and a lion. That would be a horrible situation to find yourself in. It's a good Bible story, but imagine, hey, you're in charge, you have a terrible job, and now you have to deal with a bear and a lion. And they're coming to attack your sheep. I don't know about you, but I'm like, peace, sheep, good luck, out. But David fights them. Why? Because he's being a good steward of the resource in which God has given him. And then later on, that becomes a part of his resume. Because what happens is he gets taken before Saul, and Saul says, how are you gonna defeat a giant? And David's able to say, hey, when I was a shepherd, a bear came along and I defeated the bear. A lion came along, I defeated the lion. The thing that the enemy meant for bad, God's using it for my good. Because the thing that I was trying to take me out and the pain I was going through was the thing that God is using to prepare me. The misery that I was going through becomes a ministry I'm going to. The things that I'm going through, the mess that I had to deal with becomes a message that God uses. The things that you are going through are the things that God is gonna use to grow you. Amen. And when we can trust that he is the author, you trust that he wrote your story. That he is the author and the finisher of your faith, that he is writing a story. But can I be honest with you? There's gonna be some parts of your story you're not gonna like. To better illustrate that, we got one more game. So I need 4 contestants. Oh, we already got some people lined up, let's go. And you're gonna be willing to bake a cake. Super easy game, right? Everyone loves to bake cakes. That should be easy. But you're not just making a cake. The kid has to be in the front. The parent is gonna be in the back and you're gonna be blindfolded. You're gonna be the hands and they're gonna be your voice. You're gonna have to listen to everything they say to you, and you're gonna have to be able to find everything without being able to see everything. So you have to direct your parents and tell your parents what to do. We reverse roles. So now, kid in the front, you have to put your hands behind your back, blindfolds over your face, and you have a cake. The instructions are gonna be on the screen of how to make that cake. We got 1 1/4 cups water, 1/2 cup vegetable oil, and 3 eggs. So in front of you, you got oil, you've got water, and you got eggs. So, ready? On your mark. Get set. Go. Oh, come on, give it up for them. The louder you are, the harder it is for them, which is great. Wow. No, you can't guide their hands. You can't guide their hands. You are the kids behind your back. You have to tell them, use your voice. Tell them what to do. Yeah. 1/2 cup oil, perfect. Eggs. Some of you guys are missing the eggs. Yes, open the eggs. You can't just throw the eggs in there, Mom. Make sure no shells get in there. Good job. You're almost done. Hurry. Right there. Nope, no, hurry. You're good. You're supposed to use his hands. Good job. Cake mix. Oh. Parents, the reversal of the frustration from the kids is like teaching your kids math. 2 + 2 is 4. 5? No, 4. Good job, Mom. Good job. First place. We still got a second place. Hurry up. The mix. Oh, wrong one. Go, you're good. Right here. Nope, wrong way. Get it in. All right, give it up for them. First, second place. All done. Good job, guys. Good job. What's the purpose? Look at those ingredients on there, if you can put them back on the screen. The ingredients in there is cake mix, water. You guys good? Right there. She has first place prizes, second place prizes, and then you can go to the bathroom and clean yourself up. Come on, give it up for them one more time. Just pull it over to the head. If you looked at each ingredient inside of that cake, some of those ingredients by themselves, water's good. But nobody when they're thirsty is like, I can't wait to grab a bottle of oil. Like, I just wish I could down this with some oil. I wish I could have a hard egg that hasn't been cooked yet. I just want to down that right now. The ingredients by themselves are disgusting. And if you look back over the course of your life, there might be some moments that are disgusting, some moments that were hurtful, some moments that were harmful, some moments that you didn't like. But every ingredient was necessary in making the cake. Every ingredient made the cake worth having. And if you leave something out, the cake doesn't taste good. If you trust God as the author, you trust him as the master chef. And that means there's some moments in your life that don't taste good. There's some moments in your life that didn't feel good. There's some moments in your life that you wish you didn't have to go through that. But God is so good that he's not a God of trash, he's a God of recycle. And he will take the bad moments of your life and turn it around for his good. He will take the issues of your life and the pain of your life and make purpose out of your pain. He could take the mess of your life and make a message out of your mess. He can take the misery and make it ministry. He can take the issues and you're going through and the pain you had to experience to be a moment where he can bring glory through you in your life that all of a sudden reflects him in this earth. Because what you're going through, God will use to grow you. But do you trust him? Do you trust him in the process? Do you trust him that he's making it good even when it doesn't feel good, even when it doesn't taste good? Because it's easy to trust God when everything feels good. But do you trust him in those moments that don't feel good? The last thing we have to do is we have to trust the process. Verse 12 through 13 says this, and he sent and brought him in, and now he was ruddy and beautiful eyes and was handsome. And the Lord said, arise and anoint him, for this is he. And Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers, and the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon David. And I love this part. From that day forward, that the Spirit of God was on his life from that day forward. Why is that so important? Why does that matter? Because the Spirit is able to do 4 things that are super important, so many things in our life, but 4 important things. He corrects us, he directs us, he changes us, and he comforts us. But if Jesus said, I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna send a comforter, why are you so busy trying to make yourself comfortable if God was supposed to send a comforter? Maybe, just maybe, your life should be uncomfortable to the point that you need him. Maybe, just maybe, to actually live a life of faith, then that means sometimes you might have to make your life somewhat uncomfortable, that you can trust him, that God, you're gonna be my comfort. When everything is uncomfortable, God, you're gonna be working in me and through me that I might be able to make waves in this world. But the only way we can do that is by submitting ourselves to his Spirit. For 4 to 6 years, we don't know the actual date, you've been seeing me limp around this church. And the reason is because now that I've done an MRI scan, I've had a torn meniscus and a torn ACL. The problem was, I like to think I'm a better doctor. I am a WebMD master. And it's never a good time for a surgery. And I'm like, God, I'll do it some other time, I'll do it some other time, and I'll do it some other time. And finally, I'm so thankful for the people in this church who kept coming alongside me and correcting me and saying, Joe, if you don't fix it now, you'll regret it so much later. So what did I have to do? I had to submit myself to a doctor and say, hey, I need you to do it because I can't. You're gonna make a difference in this world, and you can make a difference when you finally submit yourself under God's word and say, God, I can't do it, it must be you. That's what this is all about. So every one of you was handed a glow stick when you walked into this building. And in glow sticks, you have to break them to make them glow. The reason why is because inside of a glow stick is called stored energy. There are two chemicals that work inside of a glow stick. You have fluorescent dyes and hydrogen peroxide. No light can be released unless it is first broken. So in order for it to shine bright, it has to be broken first. But you're like, Joe, I'm breaking it. It doesn't seem to be shining bright right now. Why? I used to ask this to students and kids all the time, when do stars shine? And you know the response is? They always see, at night. And that's not true. Stars shine all the time, but it's when it's darkest that you see them the brightest. Joe, the world's dark. If you don't believe me, watch 5 minutes of the news. Because we have darkness all over the world, darkness all over the country, darkness in every spot, there's darkness everywhere. But I don't question why the darkness is being dark. Because it's only doing what it's supposed to do. My question isn't why is darkness being dark? My question is, darkness only exists because light doesn't. So the question is the wrong question. It's not, why is it so dark? It's where's the light? And last week you heard our pastor say, you are the salt of this world. You are a light on the hill. The question isn't, why is it so dark? The question is, where's the light shining at? Because you're a light in dark places. And parents, you know when your kids look at you? It's when it's dark. You know when they're learning the most from you? When it's dark. Because this doesn't make a difference like this. But when the lights go out, and that's how we ought to live. Are you shining bright? When there's darkness in our world, are you making the difference? Are you the light on a hill? Can you worship him when there's nothing else? Can you lift up your hands when it feels like you can't do it any longer? Can you lift him up and say, I will praise you no matter how dark it is, no matter how dark my situation is, no matter how rough my life is, I will be a light in dark places. I will make a difference because it's the Spirit in me, because what's in me matters most. And I will be a God who follows after his Spirit, who follows after his love, who follows after his kindness. I will make a difference, that God's Spirit in me will work through me. And today, it is only by the power of Jesus that today I can stand here and declare, God, you deserve all the glory.